The man pressed the button. The countdown began. As long as they stayed here for 50 days, they could get 50 million.
I'm gonna smoke a with Elon Musk as we take his little rocket ship deep into space. And I'm gonna do it all twice.
After some fooling around, they started to explore the room. The man operated the panel. Food popped out of the wall.
That's it? This is dinner?
The room would turn off the lights every night and turn them on again at 7 o'clock the next morning. Considering there might be surveillance, they didn't do anything out of the ordinary. The next day, the woman took out the food. They started chatting, but there always comes a day when the conversation runs dry. They soon ran out of topics. The man stared at the clock. The woman sat in meditation beside him. Even though there was nothing in the room, they still tried to find some fun. Until this day, the man found an extra cockroach on the floor.
You know, they call this place the Immaculate Room, but it's really the Nothing Room.
What is it?
This is Cluey.
He gave the cockroach a name. Just as he was about to feed it, a reminder came through.
Food is only for contestant consumption. Thank you. Enjoy your stay in the Immaculate Room.
He had no choice. The man had to negotiate through the speaker.
If one of you leaves, the prize money drops to $1 million.
A quarrel broke out between them because of this. The woman left angrily, but accidentally stepped on the cockroach and killed it. The man sat in the corner in anger, and there were still 31 days to go. With nothing to do, he could only repeat the words on the clothes tags over and over again.
100% cotton. Cold wash. Do not bleach!
Feeling guilty, the woman prepared a gift for him.
Take another treat.
Me.
Yes, you. Take it.
A woman walked out. They were completely confused, but the woman said she was just an actress. The man stared at her without blinking. The woman asked him to give her his clothes. It was the first time the woman had come here, and she felt excited. She enthusiastically invited the man to dance.
Not the best dancer, but, you know, Kate used to dance, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to dance?
No.
Before long, it was time to sleep. Looking at the double bed, the three of them couldn't help feeling a little awkward, but the woman said they could sleep together. Just like that, they spent the night quietly. But when they woke up the next day, that woman was gone. Only a sentence was left on the wall.
The delivery guy left the food at the door. The wealthy man had to bend down to reach for it, because there was a tracker tied to his ankle. He couldn't leave the villa even one step. And the reason the delivery guy did this was because the wealthy man never gave tips or left positive reviews. Not long ago, his company was reported for insider trading. In the end, he was sentenced to 14 months in prison. Fortunately, the facilities here are complete. He can ride a bicycle in the morning, play golf in his spare time, and even race cars. In the evening, he picks up a bottle of wine, leisurely listening to the news report. A powerful blizzard is coming, and most mountain roads have been closed. Just as he was about to rest, the light on the tracker suddenly went out. Coincidentally, the police station called. He said the storm destroyed the monitoring system. His tracker would be restored after 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. They would come to check then. The wealthy man agreed on the surface, but he was overjoyed in his heart. He went to the warehouse and turned on the lights. A cool Lamborghini came into view. The next second, he was speeding down the mountain road. Just as he felt a trace of pleasure, a moose suddenly appeared. Although he swerved to avoid it in time, he looked back and saw another person standing ahead. There was no time to brake. He hit the person head-on. The wealthy man got out of the car and kicked the person twice. Found that the person had no reaction. Suddenly, car lights flashed in front of him, so he hurried to the back and opened the trunk. Dragged the person into it. After the car behind passed by, he immediately called his good friend. His friend ran a motel. Soon the wealthy man arrived. As soon as he got out of the car, he told his friend what had just happened. He hoped his friend would help dispose of the body. Although somewhat reluctant, his friend finally agreed. They carried the body to a tree and threw it into the tree hole. Back at the motel, the wealthy man finally explained everything from before.
6 months. You've been back for 6 months, and this is out here for me.
I was on house arrest.
Yeah, you on phone arrest too?
From the conversation we learned, 10 years ago they did something bad, and they hadn't been in contact since. For this reason his friend had been uneasy all these years, but the wealthy man had been playing around outside, so he had always been very dissatisfied. Just as he was about to turn around and leave, suddenly there was a violent knock on the door outside. The man hurried to get a gun. When they opened the door, a person was lying at the door, and it was the same person they had just thrown into the tree hole. This is a drinking method from heaven. Pour millions of dollars worth of wine into the swimming pool. Soak your whole body in it. Then sprinkle a circle of salt around. Lick a pinch of salt first. Then take a sip of wine. Life couldn't be better. In 2026, a viral crisis broke out in the world. The man was the only one who survived. To find companions, he drove an RV through 50 states, shouted loudly in 8 languages, but didn't see a single soul. He took a fancy to a luxury mansion by the road, pried open the door and moved in directly. Famous paintings worth over 100 million, dinosaur fossils from museums, and little golden statues from who knows where. car, all became decorations in his home, blasted open the supermarket door with a gun, filled the shopping cart with snacks. At the same time, spiritual food couldn't be missed, carried them all home. $10,000 red wine with spaghetti. A single sip costs $400. When it comes to entertainment, he's even bolder. Ordinary bowling isn't exciting enough, so he replaced the pins with fish tanks. Next, he got more and more crazy. He started throwing bowling cars. This kind of life lasted for nearly a year. Today happened to be the man's birthday. He couldn't help but miss the past, miss the company of his family. But now he could only wish himself a happy birthday. The more he thought about it, the angrier he got. So he started cursing God.
I get it. Nobody's coming. You're not giving me anybody. Well, guess what? I don't even care. I don't need people. Okay, I can make it work on my own. Watch me. Watch me!
5 months later, the man had become no different from a beggar. The luxury mansion turned into a garbage dump. The swimming pool became a cesspool. Living alone turned into endless torment. Because he was too lonely, he urgently needed someone to accompany him, especially a woman. Just then he suddenly thought of the female mannequin in the window, so he smashed the glass, took the initiative to strike up a conversation. But the next second, the fantasy was shattered instantly. Finally, the man felt that life was not worth living, so he sprayed his epitaph on a boulder in the suburbs. Then he planned to crash the car to end his life. But at the last moment, he slammed on the brakes, because not far away, he saw a wisp of cooking smoke, which meant there were still people alive in this world. The man rushed over quickly. Sure enough, he found traces of human life. At this time, a woman's voice came from behind. Hearing it, the man was so excited that he fainted on the spot. The boy tied several ropes to the tree, started practicing tightrope walking. As his skills improved, the number of ropes gradually decreased. Looking at that swaying figure, there was no pride in his father's heart, only a sigh.
Mon fils, le clown du cirque.
However, the parents' opinions did not shake the boy's obsession at all. At the age of 8, he saw tightrope walking for the first time. He stared dumbfounded at those artists, as if gravity had no effect on them. At that moment, something was ignited in his heart. From the day he left the circus, he began to teach himself tightrope walking. Sweat and wounds were his earliest audience. However, this was far from enough. To test his learning results, he sneaked into the circus, but unfortunately, he was discovered by the troop leader as soon as he stepped on the tightrope. During the chase, he accidentally showed amazing talent, so the troop leader made an exception and accepted him as an apprentice. However, the family resistance grew stronger. The man simply left home. Now nothing could stop him. To exercise his psychological quality, the troop leader decided to give him a real test. He arranged a performance in the park. The sun was bright that day. The lake surface reflected the light. The man steadily stepped onto the steel cable. His steps were light and confident. The first half was almost perfect, but when he came to the center of the lake, the situation suddenly changed. Some people began to ridicule. Some people began to complain. Those voices disrupted his balance like a gust of wind. The next second he lost his balance and fell into the water. He stood up in embarrassment, still finished saluting. It was his first real performance, and also his first real failure. In the days that followed, he fell into deep depression, until one day he saw Notre Dame de Paris. The two towers were calling him now, so in the dead of night, he and his partner sneaked into Notre Dame de Paris. They worked in the dark, tied a thin thread to a ball, threw it towards the opposite bell tower, then used this thin thread to pull out a small rope, then used the small rope to pull out a thick rope, finally erected the tightrope between the two bell towers. At dawn, the tightrope was ready. The man took a deep breath, stepped onto that tightrope suspended 60 meters high. No protection, no safety rope. Failure meant death. But the man walked on the tightrope without hesitation, as if this thin thread was the most solid ground. People on the ground began to gather. This time he walked steadily to the opposite bank, completed the first high-altitude performance of his life. Foreign media called him a master, but Paris said he violated the law and damaged public property. The man looked at the newspaper with a complicated expression. At that moment, his partner handed him another weekly magazine. The headline read, "The World Trade Center is about to be completed."
This is a sign.